Racism in football. Unfortunately, it's become a very common theme in the modern football world, and we've seen it all over the place, especially with the Enzo Fernandez situation, with the many different occurrences with Vinicius Jr, and many other incidents around the world. So today, I'm gonna tell my story. Now, I've unfortunately gone through a lot of racism and a lot of xenophobia, a lot of Islamophobia in various different countries that I have been to. But today, I'm gonna talk specifically about what most recently has happened to me in my own home country and within my own team environment. This isn't an easy thing to talk about, but it's something I need to talk about. I try to be 100% honest with my audience, 100% honest with you guys as much as I can, because this isn't Mr. Beast. Sorry, that was a cheap shot. But these are serious issues that need to be addressed and need to be talked about. And unfortunately, I've gone through these situations. Now, before I tell my story, I'm going to preface this by saying, why am I wearing the top? Well, because I want to show that I am proud of my racial, ethnic, and religious background, and I have never tried to hide it. I am a proud Muslim. I am a proud Brazilian, and a native Brazilian at that. I am a proud Iranian, and I am a proud American. All of these cultures have made me who I am. All of these backgrounds have made me who I am, and I wouldn't have it any other way. On to the story. So, I recently joined a team in Brazil a couple months ago, as most of you know. And as a practicing Muslim, those of you who are Muslim know this, but if you don't know this, Muslims pray 5 times a day. And so typically training would be at around 3 o'clock or so. And so that is basically right on time for one of the prayers. So what I would do is I would pray that prayer in the locker room, secluded in a corner, and then we would go to the training pitch. That was my routine for the entire season. Now, I understand that in Brazil, Muslims are not very common, and especially in the city that I'm in, especially in the environment I'm in. I understand that pronouncing names from other backgrounds can be a little bit challenging. However, there was no excuse for some of the things that were said. First of all, they kept calling me Muhammad. My name is not hard to pronounce. My name is Hamid. Hamid. It's easy. It's not hard at all. Don't take me the wrong way. Muhammad is the name of our beloved Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So, it's an honor to be called that name, but it's just simply not my name. And it wasn't just one person. It was practically the whole team. And it was even the head coach that couldn't even bother to learn my name at one point. Eventually, they learned, but some of them called me Muhammad just for the fun of it. Things get worse from there. Most days in the locker room, I would always get some sly little comments. Sly little comment about me being a terrorist. Sly little ISIS comment. Sly little bomb comment. You're a bomber. You're a suicide bomber. All of these kinds of horrible things were just little comments that were being thrown out there by my teammates. Of all people, by my teammates. For example, I remember at one point, there was a speech that we had to go to from the Bahia Football Federation where the referees, the head referees would come in and they would give us the rules and the rulings and the decision-making process for that season. And they would give us game examples with some footage. And there was a game, I believe it was Syria or Lebanon or something like that. And one of my teammates, who also happened to be a cop, went and said, "Oh, those are your ISIS brothers, aren't they? Yeah, you guys are gonna bomb everything." And the whole team proceeded to laugh. And I just had to stand there and just be like, haha, funny. No one came in to defend me. Coaching staff didn't help. No one helped me. Everyone laughed. Everyone thought it was hilarious. And, I get it. I've been getting this all my life. I've been getting this all of my life. So I'm usually able to ignore these kinds of things. But usually it comes from the outside. It doesn't come from the environment you're meant to feel safe in. It just kept happening. It just kept happening and happening. And, people would say awful things. My teammates would say awful things, like, "Oh, he must have a bomb under there, or oh, he came to training with a C4, or all these horrible things. And not only that, but in the midst of this, genocide in Palestine, they would make really, really terrible jokes. I went from ignoring it to eventually getting fed up, because I was trying to ignore it and be the bigger person. But when you chip away at someone's patience, their patience will run out. One day we were at training, and we were all a little bit frustrated with how training was going. And I was about to leave, and one of my teammates called me Muhammad and said a little terrorist joke. And I just absolutely went off on him. I couldn't handle it. I lost my patience, and the lid went off. And I screamed at him, and I screamed at him how ignorant he was, and how hateful he was, and how would he feel if he were receiving jokes like that. For reference, a lot of these guys that were making the jokes, they are from African origin. They're black players. And I would never ever in my life make a joke about their skin tone or about where they come from or anything like that. And I expect the same courtesy back, because that's just being a human. It's just being a human, and it's just doing the right thing. It's doing the right thing, and they're your teammates. You want to support them. You want to be there for them. You want to support them and be the best example that you can be. But when it comes to that same courtesy to me, they never showed it. And I ended up posting on social media how sick I was of the treatment, and I got pulled aside by one of the directors on the team. He pulled me aside because he saw everything that went down. He saw how I went off on this teammate of mine for, saying the things that he said. And he said, basically, this is all your fault. And I asked him, I said, how is this my fault when they're the ones making the jokes? When they're the ones being ignorant, and they're the ones that are being Islamophobic and xenophobic and racist towards me. He said, the only reason this is happening is because you're getting offended by it. So it's your fault. It's your fault because you're getting offended. Think about that. Think about that phrase. Think about the phrase, it is your fault. It is your fault getting racially abused. It is your fault getting attacked xenophobically for your faith, for your religion, for the color of your skin. Imagine, put yourself in those shoes and then say that you're the victim, you're the reason that it's happening because you're the one getting offended. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get angry, but I got told that it was my fault. I got told it was all of my fault because I was giving them the power because they were saying these jokes and I was getting offended. I just couldn't believe what I heard. I couldn't believe what I heard. Instead of receiving support from the staff at the club, I got made the scapegoat for my own suffering xenophobia. Eventually, I did get some support. I said in the group chat how sick I was of what everyone was saying, that I was sick of the ignorance, and they wouldn't feel comfortable if I was making such jokes to them. And eventually some of them understood, some of them apologized, some of them showed support for me, and some of the staff, like the doctor of the team, I'm gonna single him out because he was always really supportive to me. He pulled me aside in private and he told me, hey, if there's anything I can do to help you out, because I know that it must be lonely, you're one of the only Muslims in this city, and you're getting xenophobically attacked by your teammates. If there's anything I can do, let me know. And that really meant a lot to me. That meant so much to me, that there was somebody on my side, and he was genuinely on my side. It just didn't really stop. And the worst part is that xenophobia in the workplace is a crime in Brazil. Xenophobia, racism, any kind of discrimination in that way, shape, or form is a crime in Brazil. And I didn't even do anything because I wanted to be the bigger person instead of creating an even bigger scene than it was. I did nothing but show respect to my teammates. I did nothing but show respect to them. I did nothing but show respect to the coaching staff and to the president and to the vice president and to the director. I did nothing but show respect and courtesy to them. And what did I get in return? I got called a terrorist. They didn't even have the decency to call me by my name at times. That was at my own team. That was my own workplace. That was my own workplace. And this happens to people. It probably happens to people on account of their race, on account of their ethnic background, on account of a lot of things, unfortunately. I hope you guys watched this all the way through. It's an extremely important message. I'm sorry that if I lost control a little bit there emotionally. But this story needed to be told. I hope that I was able to educate you guys. I hope you guys are more careful with what you say to people based on this video, based on this story, based on this message. Be kind to others. Be kind to your teammates. Don't be that person. Don't be ignorant. If you make a joke, be careful. Just be careful. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. And thank you. I will see you later.